to show you how we close round 1 and how we will move on to round 2. Here we go for 9. Perfect. Okay, so now I have a total of 10 stitches. The chain 2 counts as my first double crochet stitch, and then 9 more double crochet stitches, resulting in a total of 10. What we're going to do next is we're going to take our crochet hook and slip stitch into the top of the, or into the second chain of the chain 2. Slip stitch to close round 1. Here's what we're looking at. Pretty cool. Now go ahead and take this tail. If you did the magic ring, take the tail, hold your work back. I want you to see the hole though as I do this. And as you pull, that hole shrinks. And we want that, because if we do that, then it has a perfect closure there in the center. No open hole, which looks really good. So I'm going to keep pulling there. Great. Now what I will do is I'll go ahead and grab my yarn needle. Take care of this right off the bat. There we go. And I will secure it in. Now all of this will be on the inside of the floor poof, so it doesn't have to be pretty because no one will ever see it. But I just want to make sure that it stays secure and doesn't loosen up on us. There we go. Perfect. And I'll come back. Even go through the string so the fibers cling, or go through the yarn so the fibers clean. Hold a little bit back with my fingers. I'm going to twist it so it forms this X shape. Go under the bottom, through, tighten that off for a slip knot. Perfect. And then we can just honestly leave the rest of the yarn there, leave it alone. It'll be fine. Now that center is secure and we can confidently move on to round 2. For round 2, we chain 2. 1, 2. That chain 2 does count as our very first double crochet stitch. Go ahead and make 1 more double crochet stitch in the same stitch we just slip stitched into. Great. And then for round 2, all we are doing is making 2 double crochet stitches in every stitch space all the way around. You should end round 2 with a total of 20 double crochet stitches. Here we go. Oh, I am about to run out of yarn here. I was about to do stitch 19 and then 20. So let me go ahead and show you how I attach more yarn to my project here. Hopefully it'll help you as you are running out of yarn as well. So I have my next skein ready to go. I like to use what's called an invisible knot join. This is my favorite join to use. It works incredible. It's reliable. I use it on all of my work. If you have a different technique that you like to use to join yarn, use whatever you're most comfortable with. I'm just going to show you this really quickly so that way it can help you if you don't really have a technique of your own. So take the yarn that is attached to your project that you're running out of, have it going this way. Take the brand new skein, take the end, have it go the opposite direction. bud them up next to each other. Take this side right here, wrap it around 2 fingers. Take the little tail, wrap it around over the 2 yarns, between your 2 fingers, right there. So that way it is coming out towards your little fingertips right there. Pinch that, remove your fingers, pull and form a knot on this side. You can pull that tight as you can, just to make sure it's staying strong and secure. Then we move our way over to the other side. Other 2 fingers, wrap the strings around those 2 fingers, take the little tail over the 2 yarns between your fingers. There you go. Grab that little tail, remove your fingers, pull, and that forms a knot on this end. So now you have 2 knots. Take the yarn attached to your project, the yarn attached to the new skein, pull, and those 2 knots come in on each other, and they actually form a very strong connection, a very strong knot. It's not going anywhere. Take your scissors. You can actually cut these tails close to the knot, and it's not going anywhere. It is secure and strong. There we go. And then you can continue working on your project, and this join is invisible. It camouflages in, it works great, and you have nothing to come and address after the project. You have nothing else to just weave in. You're done. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. So this was my stitch number 19 and then 20. Perfect. I have finished round 2. Slip stitch into the second chain that we made to close off round 2. There we go. And this is what you should be looking at right there. Pretty cool. Round 3, we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. That chain 2 does count as our first double crochet stitch. The repeat pattern for round 3 is going to be increase double crochet in the first stitch, the same stitch we just slip stitched into, and then make 1 double crochet stitch, and then 2 double crochet stitches, 1, 2 double crochet stitches, 1. Repeating this pattern all the way around for round 3. You should end round 3 with a total of 30 stitches. So remember, this chain 2 does count as our first double crochet stitch. So insert back into that same stitch we slip stitched into. There's 2. And then next stitch. 1. Now, if you need a little help, guidance, finding where you're placing your stitches, make sure you're not placing your stitches in the back loop only. Try to find the stitch and find space so that way you have your 2 loops on top. One. 2. 1.
Finding the right funding to help you grow your business can feel like a challenge. American Express Business Line of Credit offers flexible access to lines ranging from $2,000 to $250,000. Draw individual loans for your business as needed, up to your available line amount. You can choose from whatever loan term lengths you're offered. You can even take out multiple loans up to your available line amount. As you pay off each loan, your line replenishes. American Express Business Line of Credit.
Michael's lowest prices of the season sale is going on now. Get up to 60% off thousands of items. Shop 70% off spring stems and 60% off spring floral and decor. Score BOGO deals for free canvas and frames. And all yarn is on sale. Plus, earn rewards while you shop.
and 30. Great. Slip stitch into the second chain that we started with. 1, 2. Beautiful. Great. Round 3 is complete. Moving on to round 4. Chain 2. 1, 2. Again, does count as our first double crochet stitch. Double crochet stitch into the same stitch we just slip stitched into to close the last round. There you go. There's our increased double crochet. And then we're going to make 1 double crochet stitch in the next 2 stitch spaces. One and 1. Great. And then the repeat pattern for row or round 4 is 2 double crochet stitches, 1, 1, 2 double crochet stitches, 1, 1. Repeating this pattern all the way around for round 4. You should end round 4 with a total of 40 stitches. Here we go. One, 2, 1, and 40. Great. Slip stitch into the second chain, close round 4. Perfect. Okay, we are on to round 5. Round 5, we will chain 2. 1, 2 counts as our first double crochet stitch. The repeat pattern for round 5 will be 2 double crochet stitches in the first stitch and then 1 double crochet stitch in the next 3 stitch spaces. And then repeat. 2 double crochet, 1, 1, 1. Repeat this pattern all the way around for round 5, ending round 5 with a total of 50 stitches. So here we go. First double crochet stitch will go into the same stitch that we slip stitched into. So there is our first increased double crochet stitch, and then 1 double crochet stitch in the next 3 stitch spaces. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 50. Great. Slip stitch into the second chain to close round 5. 1, 2. Great. We are now on to round 6. Round 6, we're going to start by chaining 2. 1, 2. Again, counts as our first double crochet stitch. Double crochet into the same stitch that we just slip stitched into to create that increased double crochet. And then we will make 1 double crochet stitch in the next 4 stitch spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is the repeat pattern for round 6. So 2 double crochet stitches and then 1, 1, 1, 1. Repeat this pattern all the way around for round 6. You should end round 6 with a total of 60 stitches here. And actually find my next stitch. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then next stitch, make 2 double crochet stitches. 1, 2, and then 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitch spaces. Last stitch here. 60, great. Going to rotate this a little bit. It's getting big now. Slip stitch into the second chain to close round 6. There we go. And we are now on to round 7. Round 7 is our last increase round. So we're going to start by chaining 2. This chain 2 does count as our first double crochet stitch. Double crochet into the same stitch we just slip stitched into for our increase double crochet stitch. There we go. And then we're going to make 1 double crochet stitch in the next 5 stitch spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the repeat pattern is 2 double crochet stitches and then 1 double crochet stitch in the next 5 stitch spaces. Repeat this pattern all the way around for round 7, ending round 7 with a total of 70 stitches. All right, here we go. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last stitch for round 7, and that makes 70. Perfect. To close round 7, we will slip stitch into the second chain. 1, 2, closing round 7, and we're moving on to round 8. For round 8, we will chain 2. 1, 2. Again, that chain 2 counts as our first double crochet stitch. Now for round 8, all we are doing is making 1 double crochet stitch in every stitch all the way around. You should end round 8 with a total of 70 stitches here. Now round 8 is the only round where we just make 1 double crochet in every stitch. Starting in round 9, we will start decreasing and closing our floor poof. So this whole project works up really fast. So go ahead, real quick, take a second, finish round 8, and I'll meet you back here to show you how we decrease our stitches and start closing up our floor poof for round 9. All right, last stitch here for round 8 and 70. Perfect. Okay, slip stitch into the second chain to close off round 8. There we go. Great. Now for round 9, we're going to start adding decrease stitches to close the top of the floor poof. Start by chaining 2. 1, 2. That chain 2 does count as our first double crochet stitch. Next stitch, we're going to make the double crochet 2 tog. How to do this? We're going to yarn over, find the next stitch space, insert our crochet hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through only 2 loops on our crochet hook. Great. Then we're going to yarn over again, insert our crochet hook into the next stitch space, then yarn over and pull through only 2 loops on our crochet hook. So now we have a double crochet stitch started in this stitch space and a double crochet stitch started in this stitch space. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your crochet hook, and that turns 2 stitch spaces into 1. Great. Next, we're going to make 1 single crochet stitch in the following 5 stitch spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we will make another double crochet 2 tog stitch right here, and then 1 double crochet stitch in the following 5 stitch spaces. That is our repeating pattern for round 9. You should end round 9 with a total of 60 stitches. All right, here we go. One, two, three, four, five, and then double crochet, 2 tog. There's 1, 2, yarn over, pull through. There we go. Okay, so at the end of round 9, you're only going to have 4 double crochet stitches to close out the round. So here's where I did my decrease double crochet, then 1, 2, 3, 4. Move all this around. And now I'm going to slip stitch into the top or the second chain to close round 9. Now, if you remember in the very beginning of round 9, we did the chain 2. The chain 2 does count as our first double crochet stitch, and then we started the double crochet 2 tog in the very next stitch. So technically there are 5 stitches here. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the chain 2 would make 5 before we dove into the next repeat. Okay, so it does equate. So now we are now on to round 10. For round 10, we are going to start by chaining 2. 1, 2. Again, that chain 2 counts as our first double crochet stitch. Now the repeat pattern for round 10 will be double crochet 2 tog, the first 2 stitch spaces together, and then make 1 double crochet stitch in the following 4 stitch spaces, and then repeat double crochet 2 tog, and then 1 double crochet stitch in the following 4 stitch spaces. Repeat this pattern all the way around for round 10, and you should end round 10 with a total of 50 stitches. Here we go. All right, so let's close round 10. 1, 2. Here we go. Ready for round 11. Chain 2. 1, 2. Okay, the repeat pattern for round 11 will be decrease 2 tog, the first 2 stitches together, and then 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitch spaces, and then repeat double crochet 2 tog, 3 double crochets, double crochet 2 tog, 3 double crochets. Repeat this pattern all the way around. You should end round 11 with a total of 40 stitches. Here we go. So here's the first one. Already have a stitch in there. Next stitch space. 1, 2, and there we go. All right, closing off round 11, slip stitching into the second chain. And there we go. Okay, so for round 12, before we dive into round 12, let's go ahead and put the actual cushion inside our floor poof. And now we're gonna start closing the rounds in around the floor poof. So I'm gonna take my floor poof, I'm gonna lay it like this. You can already see where the walls are starting to close in. Here we go. Grabbing my cushion, and I'm just going to insert the cushion in. See if I can back up a little bit so you can see more of what's going on here. Go. There we are. Perfect. Make sure it's a little centered. It might seem a little bit big, and that's okay. we will mold it around the cushion. Okay, so grabbing our crochet hook, making sure we didn't lose our spot here. Okay, so for round 12, we're now on to round 12. We're gonna chain 2. 1, 2. Now the repeat pattern for round 12 will be double crochet 2 tog the first 2 stitches together, and then 1 double crochet in the following 2 stitch spaces. So 1, 1, then double crochet 2 tog, 1, 1. Repeating this pattern all the way around for round 12. You should end round 12 with 30 double crochet stitches. So here we go. Next stitch over. One, two. All right, last stitch of round 12. Here we go. Great. Okay, slip stitch into the second chain here. There we go. All right, we're going to chain 2. 1, 2 again counts as our first double crochet stitch. We're going to double crochet 2 tog the first 2 stitch spaces together, and then make 1 double crochet stitch in the next stitch space, and that is the repeat pattern. Double crochet 2 tog, 1 double crochet, double crochet 2 tog, 1 double crochet. Go ahead and repeat this pattern all the way around. Right, closing round 13 right now. Here we go, and we are on to our very last round. Round 14 closes up the whole perfect jumbo floor poof. We're going to chain 2. 1, 2. Now the repeat pattern for round 14 will be to double crochet 2 tog every 2 stitches together. That's all we're doing. You should end with a total of 10 stitches, and then we will be ready to close this off. There we go, guys. Last stitch. Slip stitch into the top of the second chain, and you will notice that there's still a bit of a hole in the top here. That's okay. Going to take our tail and we're going to weave in and out of these last stitches and cinch it closed. So grab yourself enough of slack of tail, cut that off. We're going to yarn over and tie off our work right now, so we don't have to worry about anything coming undone. Closing off that round 14. Great. Taking your crochet hook, and we're just going to weave this tail in and out of stitches. There we go. And where we began, there we go. Okay, now we're going to take our tail and cinch it closed. Perfect. Great. So now we can take our tail and just kind of keep twisting it to close up the bottom here. I like to make it as tight as possible so that way I can more easily, and then pinch it, more easily thread it through the eye of my yarn needle. There we go, just enough to get a grab. Then I'm going to take my yarn needle, making sure that this is as tight as I want it to be. Grab a little bit of yarn. There we go. Pop through. Hold back some yarn. Going to keep twisting until I can see an X shape. Take my yarn needle, go underneath, tie off with a slip knot, allowing it to feed through smoothly so I can control the knot and where it closes. Perfect. Then I'm going to just take this yarn needle, come through the work a little bit, in between some yarn strands so the fibers cling to each other. Now this is jumbo yarn, so it's going to be, there's going to be friction, so just keep pulling. There we go. Now I'm going to take my scissors, cut the yarn flush with the project, and the perfect jumbo floor poof is done. You may notice that there is a little bit of some slack here on the side. I preferred that way it wasn't so tight. It actually is very moldable, so when you sit on it, the inner pillow has room to expand within. Makes it very comfy. There we go. So cool.
All right, guys, so what did you think of the perfect jumbo floor poof? If you have any feedback or any questions at all, feel free to ask in the comment section below. I hope you had so much fun with this whole project, and I hope you love it as much as I do. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet already so you don't miss my future videos. Check out my membership program, see if there is a level that fits you best. I would love you to join. My Instagram page is all about behind the scenes projects that I'm working on right now, and you get to see a little bit of what's happening behind the camera. If you liked this video, you might also love these videos right here. They're just more home decor videos I've created, and you might have fun watching those. Also check out this video, which is a recommended video for you to watch. Thank you so much for spending time with me today, crocheting with me. I always love crocheting with you. I hope you have the best day, and I will see you with my next video. Bye, guys.
YouTube Premium is ad-free YouTube, and YouTube Music Premium, a whole app just for streaming music uninterrupted. YouTube Premium, it's way more than ad-free.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiffany Hansen. Thank you so much for joining me today. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make my Bear Hug Jumbo Blanket. It's just absolutely stunning. It's heavy and it works up really, really fast. I made this large throw blanket in 3 days. So fast. So if you're looking for a project that works up really quickly, looks absolutely stunning, like you would find this in Restoration Hardware, a Pottery Barn, you'd find this in one of those luxurious furniture stores. Absolutely. Everyone that has seen this blanket has gone gaga over it. They just want one. You're gonna love this, okay? The pattern for this blanket is going to be found in both the comment section and the description section below this video. So all you have to do is click on that link, purchase the pattern, and be ready to crochet with me. Now, as usual, I'm gonna walk you through step by step everything you're gonna need to accomplish this blanket in this tutorial, though I put a lot of work into that pattern and a lot of work into the instructions on different sizes for this video. So if you are able to support my efforts, that would be incredible, and I appreciate that so much. I really wanted this to be easy peasy for you, so all you had to do was walk into this tutorial and know everything that you're gonna need, know exactly how much of everything you're going to need to accomplish the blanket that you desire to make. All right, if at any point in this video you do like what you see, you're enjoying the content, please push that thumbs up button for me. It's like a big high five, and it tells YouTube this is a good good video. Also, if you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel and click the bell. That way you get notified whenever I release a brand new video. I try to release a brand new video every single Friday. Sometimes I release more. I do instructional tutorials on how-tos. I give tips and tricks. I do fun giveaways. There's so much we do on this channel and you're not going to want to miss out. It's a lot of fun. Also, if you haven't yet, follow me on Instagram or Facebook where I show you behind the scenes things, give you a upfront what I'm working on and things that I have in the works. There are a lot of interesting things there and you're going to want to know the behind the scenes to just be prepared for what is coming, if that makes any sense. So this yarn that I used is the size 7 jumbo yarn and it is pricey. This is a project that you're going to be investing in. So I recommend that you use coupons or find sales in order to accomplish this blanket because this is a yarn eater. The size 7 jumbo yarn usually works up really fast. But at the same time, you're making this blanket a large adult size blanket in 3 days. Double crochet stitches, the basics. That's all we're doing. So I'd say that this is a beginner friendly pattern. The only thing that you might run into is just the size of the yarn, working and manipulating a big thick yarn. Okay, so other than that, let's go ahead and dive right into what materials you're going to need to make this Bear Hug jumbo blanket. All right, the materials that you're going to need for the Big Bear jumbo blanket will include a yarn that is a size 7, the jumbo size yarn. This is the big boy, guys, all right? So I used the loops and threads from Michaels, Ariel Big. This is the color cream. This particular yarn is 70% polyester, 29% wool, and 1% spandex. So if you are allergic to any of those materials right there, feel free to substitute this yarn for whatever size 7 jumbo yarn that you want. It's not a big deal, all right? I just really liked the way that this felt. It was my favorite, but if you want to substitute, go for it. There's also a lot of colors that you can choose from, which are awesome. All right, I did include a chart in both the pattern and I will include the chart right here at the side of the screen. In this chart, I include different blanket sizes, those blanket dimensions, chain count for your foundation row, chain count, how many rows you will need to accomplish that blanket dimension, and then on the far right hand side of this chart, you're going to see that I put approximately how much yarn you're going to need to accomplish that blanket. I will include yards, meters, grams, and ounces in there, along with, if you're buying this exact skein of yarn, how many skeins of yarn you're going to need approximately to make that sized blanket. I did all that math for you to make it super easy peasy. This project works up super fast and you're going to love it. All right, the crochet hook that you are going to want is a 25mm crochet hook. It's a big crochet hook. It's a big boy. Because this yarn is so jumbo, I wanted to accomplish using a crochet hook that will make this yarn soft and drapey and cuddly. If you use anything smaller, the crochet stitches are going to be tighter and this blanket is going to be more stiff. We don't want that. That's not cuddly. That's not what we like to cuddle up with on the couch, right? Or drape on our bed. We want something that is loose and like a bear hug. So this is the big 25mm crochet hook. It's very close to actually hand crocheting, but it's more structured, okay? You're also going to need a yarn needle with the huge eye, okay? That huge eye will be able to thread the huge yarn, and that will help us to weave in our ends at the end of the project. A pair of scissors, and optional, guys, is the Aleene's Quick Dry Fabric Fusion. This stuff I swear by when it comes to the huge jumbo yarn, because when you weave in the ends, even if you're using the yarn needle, sometimes those ends still poke out. It's not a clean weave in. You can get it as close as you want, you really can, but there's always going to be an end sticking out and it always has a risk of coming undone when you go to wash it. All right, so I use only this one. This is the only one I use. It's the only one I trust. It's the only one I would recommend to you. All right, it's the Quick Dry Fabric Fusion Aleene's. It dries clear and it dries flexibly. It does not dry hard. So when you use the just small dot to take the end and smooth it over so it camouflages in, you can't see it and it doesn't come out in the wash and it's completely safe and it dries flexibly so you can't even notice that there's anything there. All right, I will put links to everything you see here in both the description section and the comment section below this video. So if you want to get your hands on anything you see here, all you have to do is click on that link to purchase it and have it sent directly to you. Some of them are affiliated links, not all of them, which just means that if you purchase the item, the company will give me a small commission. Thank you for having you purchase the item, and those commissions go straight back into my channel for materials. So thank you so much in advance if you do choose to purchase any materials from the links below. That is awesome. All right, or you could just go ahead and grab anything you have on hand, go to the store, pick whatever you want. It's all up to you. Go ahead and get all of your materials ready, and once you are prepared, let's get right to actually making our Big Bear Jumbo Blanket. The pattern that I use to make the Big Bear Jumbo Blanket has 3 different names. It's referred to as either the griddle stitch, the up and down stitch, or the cobble stitch. So if you are familiar with any one of those stitches, they're all the same thing, okay? This pattern is worked in a multiple of 2 plus 1. So if you want to adjust the size of the blanket or make a washcloth or do whatever you want to do, maybe you just like the pattern a lot and want to make something completely different, it's in a multiple of 2 plus 1. All right. Okay, we begin with a long enough tail for us to weave in our ends at the end of the project. I'm gonna say this is about, if you want to get completely specific, I'm gonna start with the tail that's about 7 inches long, and that's if you want to be like exactly what I have, or just kind of gauge what you think it would be. And then make your slip knot. Take your crochet hook, attach your crochet hook. And again, we want all of our stitches to be loose here. That's gonna be the big thing. A lot of us want to go tight on our stitches. We really want to err on loose. And once you get the hang of this, it moves super fast, okay? So multiple of 2 plus 1. I'm gonna just do a quick swatch demo. So I'm going to make a total of 11 stitches, okay? That's in a multiple 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's a multiple of 2 and then plus 1. So 11. Perfect. So that is our chain foundation row. For row 1, we're going to single crochet in the second chain from our crochet hook. So looking at our V stitches, remember the loop on our crochet hook does not count. So V stitches, 1, 2. I like to put my crochet hook with 2 loops on the top, 1 loop on the bottom. But if you like 1 loop on the top, 2 loops on the bottom, or even to do the piggyback where you put your crochet hook in the middle loop here on the back. There's so many different ways you can do this, guys, working off of the foundation row, but I like it this way. So making a single crochet stitch in the second chain. Okay, give me lots of yarn here. It's almost like an extended stitch where I pull and make sure everything has lots of room here. And then in the next chain, we're going to make a double crochet stitch. So yarn over, insert, through, 2, and pull through 2. Perfect. And that is the repeat pattern all the way across for row 1. Single crochet, double crochet, single crochet, double crochet. You're going to end, the very last chain will have a double crochet stitch. All right, so go ahead and continue on, and I will meet you at the end of row 1 to show you what we do next. Perfect. Okay, so we have just finished row 1. To move on to row 2, we will chain 1. We will turn our work. Great. And we will start with a single crochet in the first stitch, and then double crochet, and then single crochet, double crochet. The pattern is really, you're going to single crochet on top of a double crochet, and you're going to double crochet on top of a single crochet. Okay, so starting with a single crochet stitch, and then double crochet, and then next stitch, single crochet, Make sure everything is loose. That's gonna be something I'm gonna keep saying because I know somebody out there is gonna do it too tight. And then next stitch, double crochet. Okay, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but I try to identify the stitch by poking my fingers through it. That way I can see it. If you need to look at the top of your rows to find the V stitches here, and then stick your fingers underneath the V stitch, that way you can see where you're inserting your crochet hook. You can do that. And really just continue to make sure that it's flowy, it's drapey, okay? It might take a little bit of practice. Maybe you get through row 2, row 3, and then you start to get your rhythm. That's okay. And that is all we are doing, guys. That is this pattern. It's so easy. You really get lost in it. The last stitch will always be a double crochet stitch, okay? Last stitch will always be a double crochet stitch, and then for every single row of this blanket, you're repeating row 2. For every single row, you're going to chain 1. You're going to turn your work. You start with a single crochet and then double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, and you always end with a double crochet stitch. Okay? Keep count. Every now and then, periodically. You don't have to necessarily count every single row, but you may find it very beneficial, very helpful every now and then counting the number of stitches that are in your row. You should have one less stitch than the chains you chained in your foundation row. Okay, so for me, I started with 11 chains. That means every single row, I should have a total of 10 stitches. Okay, so that should be something to help you gauge depending on what blanket size you chose. All right, so next thing I want to address is attaching yarn to your project because this is such a big yarn, right? So let me go ahead and work towards the middle here. Okay, so let's just say, there we go. Let's say I've been crocheting along and I'm running out of yarn and I need to attach more yarn to my project to keep going, right? So I'm gonna show you the invisible knot trick, which is something I do often. I do it with all my projects because I trust it, I love it, I use it all the time. Okay, so we're running out of yarn. We need to attach more yarn. Take the yarn that is attached to your project and have it go this direction. Take the brand new skein that you want to attach and have that yarn go in the opposite direction, okay? Butt those up against each other. Take 2 fingers, wrap the 2 yarns around your 2 fingers, all right? Take the little tail, go over the 2 yarns between your fingers so that way it's sticking out towards your fingernails. Grab that tail, remove your fingers, pull tight, and it will form a knot. All right. Now let's do that same thing on this side. So follow the 2 strands to the other side, 2 fingers, wrap the 2 strands around your 2 fingers, take the little tail, go over the 2 strands between your fingers so that way it's sticking out towards your fingernails. Grab it, remove your fingers, pull tight for a knot on that side. So now you have a knot over here and a knot over here. All right, grab this yarn, pull, and those 2 knots will slide in towards each other and form a very strong knot that isn't going anywhere. Love it. Grab your scissors. You can actually cut the yarn really close to that knot and that knot doesn't go anywhere. It's awesome. Okay, I've used this trick basically every time I make something and I love it. It's so strong. And then when you keep going, working your project, See, there's the knot. You work past it. Now this invisible knot trick really only works if you're using the same color yarn. If you're using a different color yarn, I would do a clean end of row break. But if you're using the same color yarn, this is what happens. Pass it by. You can't see it on this side. Let's flip this over. It's right here. I can see it because I'm right here. But if you kind of flip that little strand over, you can't see it. And then when I come back for the next row, it disappears completely. So now you don't have anything to come back and address. You're not wasting any yarn by having to stop at the end of a row to reattach. And then you have a bunch of leftover yarn. This yarn's too expensive to do that, guys. It really is. So make sure you use every last bit of that yarn, and then you can't see it. It's camouflaged. So this is called the invisible knot. I love it. I recommend it. If you have your own trick, or if you do prefer to do a different method, use it. Go ahead. Do whatever makes you happy, whatever works best for you. I just wanted to offer this to you if you would like to use it. All right, guys, that is it. So let me go ahead and actually get through, and then I want to show you how I would weave in my ends at the end of the project, just so I feel like I've covered any questions that may come up. So last stitch, we double crochet. Okay, let's say I've ended my project, like I'm done. Okay, so I'm gonna cut my yarn long enough tail for me to weave in that end. Okay, I'm going to yarn over that tail, pull that tail through the loop on my crochet hook and pull tight, and that's called a tie off. I've just tied off my project. My project's done. Grab that huge yarn needle. I twist my yarn to keep it all together, make it easier for me to get it through the eye of the needle. There we go. Come on, there we go. Okay, so I've got my needle here. I'm gonna come back to the project. I'm gonna look for where the stitches entered into the row below. And I'm going to actually come through, and I like to go in the middle. See, here is the yarn. I go in the middle of that strand of yarn. Okay, and then I'll come down to where the stitch entered in the row before, and I'll go through there. All right, and then I'll continue across, but I'll go in the middle. See that? I'll go in the middle of the yarn. The fibers cling to each other when you do that and make a more secure hold. Okay, so I'll go through one way. I have had a hard time with weaving in my ends, so if you're like me and you just don't have good luck with weaving in your ends, then you can do that. And then once I get about halfway of my tail that I had to weave in my ends, I will go backwards. So I'll come back upon what I just wove in. And that is the trick that keeps everything secure and snug for me. There we go. And I'll come all the way to the end, just all the way through the side. There we go. Release my yarn needle. Pull that so it sits nicely and loose and doesn't look tight. All right. And then I will cut flush my yarn. Perfect. Now, if this is good for you and you're like, no, I'm done, then you have finished. If you would like, you can always use that little bit of fabric glue that I recommended. I would literally put a dot on the end here, smooth it down, and then it dries instantly, and this end doesn't move, it doesn't come undone. So that is how I would finish off the project. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask me in the comment section below. I hope you love this blanket. All right, guys, so what did you think of the Bear Hug Jumbo Blanket? I hope you love it. I hope you loved the repeat pattern, because for me, I love repeat patterns when it comes to blankets that are simple and you just get lost in it. It becomes very therapeutic and relaxing to just go, right? Well, if you liked this video, you might also really like these videos right here, which are more blanket videos that you might enjoy. Also check out this video, which is just a recommended video for you to watch. Thank you so much for spending time with me today, crocheting with me. I always love crocheting with you. I hope you have the best day, and I will see you with my next video. Bye, guys.
Hey everyone, my name is Madeline from Cuties Crochet, and today I want to show you how to crochet this beautiful bag. For this project you will need some t-shirt yarn in the colors that you like. Then you will need some darning needles and something to cut your yarn with. Of course you will also need a crochet hook, and I'll be using a 10mm one, but you can choose any hook that suits your yarn. For the beginning you want to take the 2 strands of yarn together and pull out a long tail of yarn. It doesn't matter if it's twisted, it will just be as colorful when you're crocheting. Okay, let's jump right in. Take the 2 strands of yarn, and what you want to do is you'll make a slip knot. Just like this. Then insert your hook and pull tight. Perfect. Now we want to chain 14. So grab the yarn and pull it through the loop on the hook. Then repeat for the next one. So that's 2. Then 3. Then 4. And then 5. And continue doing this until you reach 14. Okay, so I now have 14, and it should look something like this. The yarn is a little bit twisted here, but that's okay, we won't see that in the end. For the next step, we want to make a single crochet into the second chain from the hook here. So we skip the first chain and then make a single crochet into this chain. So go into the chain, pull up 2 loops, get the yarn, and pull through both of them. And that's how you make a single crochet. This is our first stitch of the row, and we will mark that with a stitch marker. So put it in here and then lock it. Alright, to make the back round, we want to make another single crochet into the same chain that we just did. This is called an increase, and we will do that at every beginning of the row. So that's another single crochet. And now we want to make 1 single crochet into every chain until we reach the end of the row, except for the last chain. Attention please. So I accidentally skipped a stitch in the next step, and I wanted to tell you to avoid confusion. So we will make a single crochet into the next stitch, not into the one that I just made, in the one before, and continue making 1 single crochet into every chain. For the last stitch, we want to make 3 single crochets into it. So that's 1, then 2, and 3. This is also to make the back rounder. This is how it's supposed to look like after finishing 1 row, aka the one side. Because we will now turn over the piece and keep crocheting on the other side. You can see that this side also has chains, and we will make single crochets into them till we reach the end of the row. To make your life a bit easier and not weave in too many ends, you can carry the yarn from the slip knot on the back. Keep count when making the single crochets so you don't miss any chains. After you've done 11 single crochets, make a slip stitch into the first stitch of the row. So where we put our stitch marker. Okay, so you can start seeing that the back is beginning to look round, and this is what we want to maintain. So for the next step, we want to chain 1 and then make a single crochet increase again at the beginning of the row. So take out the stitch marker and chain 1. Then go back into the same stitch, our first stitch of the row, and make 2 single crochets. After we've done the single crochet increase, we will continue the pattern from the last round, and we will single crochet our way to the other side and make 3 single crochets into the same stitch again. And then we will go back with single crochets and slip stitch into the first stitch of the last row. I will speed up this process just a little bit because it's the same thing that we did in the last row. And that's our row 2. For row 3, we will do the exact same thing that we did in row 2, except that the numbers of the single crochets that we need to do in between to get to the other side is higher. Maybe you already realized this in row 2, but it's just natural because we are increasing each row. In the beginning of the row with a single crochet increase, and in the middle of the row with 3 single crochets. After you've done row 3, chain 1 and then count the stitches. It should be 35. After that, make 5 rows full of only single crochets. So no more increases anymore. We want the bag to gain height. So for each row, chain 1, then make 35 single crochets and then slip stitch into the first stitch of the last row. Repeat this for 5 rows. After you've done 5 rows, chain 1, then cut the yarn and fasten off. This is how your bag is supposed to look like. We will now move on until the handle. To make the handle, move to one side of the bag and then search for the middle stitch. Then count 3 down from the stitch on each side and mark them with a stitch marker. Insert your hook, grab some yarn and pull it through and chain 1. Then go into the stitch. Carry the other yarn on the back and make 1 single crochet. Pull everything a bit tight. Then continue making single crochets until you reach the next stitch marker. After that, we will make a slip stitch into the first stitch of the row and start crocheting in a round. After you've done your slip stitch, chain 1 And then keep crocheting single crochets in a round for 22 more rounds. Okay, so I've now done the 22 rounds and we want to connect this piece onto the other side. But before we do that, we need to put some stitch markers in here as well and make 2 rounds on the other side. So put the stitch markers in and repeat the same thing that we did on the other side. I have now done the 2 rounds and I just slip stitch into the first stitch, then chained 1 and fastened off. We are now done with crocheting and we want to connect the 2 pieces together. First, we also want to chain 1 and fasten off on the other side and make sure to leave a really long tail so we can use it for sewing together the pieces. Now put your darning needles on the long tail. I will also be using a thimble or more like a rubber thing for my finger so that I can hold the needle a bit better. Okay, so on the bottom piece we want to go into the stitch next to the knot. And then pull the yarn. Make sure it's not twisted anywhere. You can now see that the 2 pieces are together. Now we want to do the same thing but on the top part. So we go into the stitch right next to the knot. Now we want to repeat the whole first part, so go into the same stitch from the bottom and then into the same stitch on the top. It will just make it a bit more secure. In between, pull the yarn a bit tight, but not too tight. Alright, so we just made the foundation and we want to continue the same pattern as we did on the first stitches. So go into the next stitch from the bottom and then into the top next stitch. And then repeat to make it secure. Repeat the same motion from the bottom to the top until you reach the last stitch. In total, you should have connected 14 stitches, 7 from the bottom and 7 from the top. So now we're done, and this is what it's supposed to look like. Now the last thing to do is to hide the yarn, and we do that by going into random stitches. After you went through a couple of stitches, we can cut off the yarn and then just hide it in between. Cut the yarn and then hide it in between the stitches by pulling a bit on the bag. Repeat this with all the other strands of yarn that you have left. And that's it for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, just leave them down below in the comments. Thanks again, and bye bye.